Joining us now is the environmentalist and former Prime Minister Boris Johnson's father, Stanley Johnson. Welcome, Stanley.
God, I thought you were going to say former father.
Former Prime Minister's father. It's a tongue twister.
I'm worried about that.
Stanley, let's start with Joe Biden's age. He's a bit over the hill, isn't he?
I don't agree with that at all. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's got the whole world in front of him. If I think about it, looking at Konrad Adenauer, he was 87 when he gave up, and Biden's not going to be 87, even if he serves the whole term.
But you saw that video there. He gets into these blunders. He's tripping upstairs. He's falling off bikes. Surely there's big concerns about the man with his finger on the nuclear button.
We all fall off bikes. I have been falling off bikes all my life. And I think, actually, you think what he's actually done in terms of the experience which he brings to this job is worth going. And in any case, where are the candidates? Where are the other people stepping forward?
Oh, I was going to ask you that, because it's a pretty serious question here, isn't there, about the fact that, OK, you say that age isn't a problem. Some people would disagree with you, and they might think that it's not a particularly good look for the President of the United States to be, for example, forgetting the name of the British Prime Minister.
Which one?
But,
there has been a few, yeah.
That's fair enough, but it was a pronunciation issue, not forgetting the name entirely. But I think the question really is, for the party, why have they not been able to find a better candidate?
It is a very good question. Now, maybe, Kamala Harris didn't quite get there, and maybe she will get there next time round. I don't think he's going to do another term. He's not allowed to do another term, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's a mystery to me why there have not been another good Democratic candidate.
If they had an age limit, for example, they'd be forced to look elsewhere, wouldn't they? I mean, that would be a cut-off point.
Yes, I don't know of a society where there are age limits for...
Well, there are age limits for driving. You have to be a certain age to drive.
Do you think the age limits for being a president? Well, again, I go back to it. If I think of, as it were, the alternatives to Mr. Biden in terms of him not winning the election, I say to myself, look, stick with what you know here, because I would say, and of course I'm speaking as environmentalist, you're very kindly, Harry, introduced me as environmentalist. I look at what Mr. Biden has done quite recently on the environment, and it's pretty good news. The so-called strangely named Inflation Reduction Act is actually all to do with environmental policy, and it's good stuff. So I am batting for Biden here. I don't think these gaffes are particularly important. Someone came in today and said Piers Morgan is not well because he's been poisoned by sushi. I said, well, who's Susie? People do make some mistakes, obviously.
But the problem is, I think what voters will wonder is, he is the leader of the free world. Should his age and should his mental status be a concern to people?
Let's go back. Let's have a little bit of historical perspective here. Gladstone, well over 80 during his last administration. Adenauer, I've already mentioned. Ronald Reagan was getting up to 80. I think he might even have been 80 by the time he stepped down. Nobody's saying that Reagan wasn't a good bet.
Stanley, while we've got you here, there's a question I've been meaning to ask you. Next time I see you, am I going to be calling you Sir Stanley Johnson?
No, I have absolutely no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about. Happily, I've been abroad.
Reportedly, you're on your son's resignation honours list. Would you accept a knighthood?
I have no idea about anything of that nature. And in any case, even if I did have an idea, as I understand it, etiquette is such that never, ever mention
Oh, he must have given you the
nod. No, let's move on. Back to Biden.
Would you accept it, though?
Back to Biden. I'm biding my time on this one.